Oh, hi everyone. This is the next video, and it was requested that we just take another look at the relationship tool. So it might be best if you pause the video before the next question when we get to it, so that you've had time to jot down your answers to it. I thought it might just be worth taking a broader look at where it came from and the ways in which you can use it. So originally it was written to help a chief exec and her chair. And as it happened, they had quite a lot in common. And also, as it happened, I was actually coaching both of them at the same time. I've used it for probably 15 years now with all kinds of relationships. So it might be hierarchical, it might be at work, it might be peers, it might be friends, families, commissioners, children. And it seems to help enormously where people are in a relationship, especially with figures of authority. But not necessarily. As I say, it's worked in all kinds of situations. And what does it do? Well, I think it helps you to manage important, critical relationships. Just to remind you, it's called critical for important. Not that they've gone terribly wrong, although it helps for them too. It also just helps you to understand the other person, their patterns of behaviour, thinking and feeling. It develops a much deeper understanding between you and the other person. It helps you to develop your mindful awareness, both of yourself and of them. It helps certainly to develop your empathy, your ability to feel what they're feeling. And also it helps you to develop your unconditional positive regard for them. Once you've understood a bit about where they're coming from, you might just see them in a more gentle light. It also, importantly, grounds you in the fact that you have a choice how to be with this other person, how to meet their demands or not. The bottom line is, though, that it just gives you time to think about a relationship that you probably wouldn't do consciously. You might do in passing, but actually it gives you some real quality time to do that. So as I say, you might want to pause the video after each question and explanation. And you'll remember the first question is just make a full description of the person. What are they like in as many ways as you can? Not what do they do, we're going to come on to that, but what are their physical characteristics? What do they look like? What's their energy like? What do you feel about them? What do you feel physically when you're with them? Just describe them like you're describing a character sketch of yourself, as some of you did in session ones with me in the coaching. So I suggest you pause the video now and come back when you're done. So, welcome back. You should now have a good description of the person. So the second question is now to describe their patterns of behaviour, but also use some of your more sophisticated psychological understanding, and that might include what are their driver behaviours. Remember those? Please others, try hard, be strong, hurry up, be perfect. Which of those do you think fits their behaviour? Secondly is, what do you think are their negative automatic thoughts? Remember those? All or nothing thinking, catastrophizing, personalizing, negative focus, jumping to conclusions, living by fixed rules. Just have a little sense of which of those you think might describe this person's behaviour. And then the third really part of this question is just notice any simple patterns of their behaviour that appear consistently. And so just pause the video again and answer those questions. So again, welcome back. You're getting a much better sense of the person now. And the answer to the next question will depend on your relationship. But the basic question is, what are their needs? But just describe in as much detail as you can, if they are a person who's like that, who behaves like this, what do you think are their underlying psychological needs? So if, for example, you've unearthed patterns of control, it might be that they're scared and they need to be kept safe. So just explore behavioral, emotional, and psychological needs, not just cognitive. And that will take a really deep bit of thinking and reflection. So again, just pause the video and answer those questions. Okay, welcome back. Fourth question. How could you meet those needs? Or rather, how could they be met? Not by you. We'll come on to you. So just think, if someone does need to feel safe or secure, how could that be met? If it's a family relationship or friend or work. Just think carefully about that. And also, as part of this question, then move on to how you could meet them. Not yet what you're going to do, but just how you could meet them in your role. And pause again for the answers. And welcome back. Next question is, what would be the cost to you of meeting their needs? So would that be loss of face, too much time, impact your own work, your own time? But just have a real sense of what would be the cost to you. And pause again to answer them. And welcome back. And this is the really tricky question that requires some empathy and understanding. Because it's the question, what is similar in your patterns? So try and think about the whole person. And if you remember, this question comes from the idea that we are all one. So whether you have a spiritual belief about that, whether you believe in the new physics that we're all just carbon atoms, or whether you believe in that lovely idea of Ubuntu, I am who I am because we are all who we are. But just have a sense of what is there of them in me. Just have a real reflection on that. What needs do you share? And again, just pause and answer the questions. And so welcome back for the final time. The final question, number 7, is having described them, having a sense of what's going on for them psychologically, their behaviours, their needs, how the needs could be met, how you could meet them, what the cost would be of doing that, mindful of all of that and a greater understanding of who they are, just really ground yourself in what you're going to choose to do. There might be some things that you have to do because they're your boss or they're your child or whatever, but just be really conscious and mindful of what you can do. Notice that there might be consequences of not meeting the needs, but be present and mindful in what you choose. And when you've done that, just think about the Metta Meditation, which is video 1, and just include that person as the other, either the neutral person or the difficult person. May you be well, happy and free from suffering, and may they too. So I hope that's helped. It was certainly requested that we just refresh ourselves on that. If you have any questions, observations, challenges, just get in touch with me. Be useful, be kind, stay well.